You're listening to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMO for Real podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all major podcasting networks. I'm your host, JMO! And today's friend is my wife and co-host. How's it going today, Sarah?
Hi, everyone. It's going great today.
Awesome. Are you excited for today's episode of Exploring Anime with Friends?
I'm really excited about this one, yes.
Right, we've been waiting to do this one for a while.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, definitely have been looking forward to doing this. Today we will be exploring the world of Ranking of Kings, a high fantasy with a disabled main protagonist, released in October of 2021. First, we will meet our main character, Boji, and explore the world of what it's like for him as both a deaf and a mute. Then we will meet some of the other important characters that help to shape some of the early going in the Ranking of Kings. After that, we will go into the journey that Boji takes in order to claim his position. After that, we will dive into some of the training that Boji puts himself to claim his rightful place in the Ranking of Kings. And then we will look as all the different sides merge together in a giant conflict at the end that decides the fate of the kingdom. And if you like what you hear today, remember to check us out on social media, like, subscribe, and follow. All right, Sarah, how many characters in anime are more wholesome than Boji?
He is such a wholesome guy. I mean, he's just so darn gentle. He's deaf and mute, so that does complicate things. He does have an interpreter. There's a lot of sign language actually going on. I wish I knew someone that actually knew Japanese sign language to verify, like, hey, is this accurate? His interpreter, Kage, he's awesome. Even when, Boji's telling things to Kage, and Kage is using Kage's words, but you can tell Boji is just so wholeheartedly into whatever's being said. And he's just so great.
You see Boji's emotions on him at all times.
Yeah.
And it's a very pure innocence. He's a young boy who was next in line to take the throne, but because of him being deaf and mute, many people just didn't feel that he was going to become king, especially since his little brother had excelled in so many different things, but Boji never allowed it to get him down. And when he realized that he had to step up to become something greater, he actually started training harder.
Yeah.
And one of the things that it's covered much later on, he's really effective in a certain combat style. Talk to us about the way Boji fights.
Oh man, he is super evasive. He is quick on his feet and he is seeing everything that's going on around him.
Trained by serpents.
Trained by serpents. The main serpent is like a giant, probably at one point in time, 3-headed snake.
Yeah.
We unfortunately only see 2 of the heads. And the snake is just whirling rocks at Boji when he was younger. And Boji's evading everything.
And the big reason for this was because Boji was cursed.
Yep.
His father was a giant and he is just tiny. And at a certain point in time, he just stopped growing physically. So to make up with what he lacked in strength, he gained that in dexterity, in evasiveness, and eventually in cunning, the ability to see the weak spots and attack the weak spots. So Boji undergoes a transformation, but there's always a kindness and a purity. Boji doesn't hold a grudge.
No, he does not. And he has every reason in the world to hold a grudge throughout most of these episodes.
Yeah, no, so many people take advantage of him, look down on him, and even at a certain point in time, try to have him killed.
Yep.
And yet, despite all of that, he is able to practice forgiveness with most of them. And some of them, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Right to the end, Boji is not trying to slay his opponents. He's trying to talk them down, despite the fact that he's a mute. Through his little translator, Kage, who we'll get into more in a moment. He tries to exercise diplomacy. He tries to exercise forgiveness. He's all about giving the second chance, but oddly enough, not in a way that denotes weakness, right?
Yeah, which is kind of crazy to think, because this guy literally threw you over a cliff. I don't know, I feel like in any universe, you forgiving that person would be weakness. He's royalty. Boji's royalty.
What?
That's gotta be a sign of weakness. But no, even when Boji finally does his thing, it's not weakness.
And these aren't singular events either. This is all throughout the second half of the first season.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he's forgiving and kind, he doesn't once make you think that he can't be king.
Yep, he's showing up for sure.
Despite the fact that he's cursed with small stature, despite the fact that he can't hear what you're saying, and he can't really Well, no, I can't even say he can't communicate with his mouth because he can actually Kage can understand what he's saying,
Mhm.
and he can some of the words that he's saying, he can kind of mouth out. And as far as the deafness is concerned, with the way he can read lips and his proficiency with sign language, you don't really even notice that he's deaf half the time. So we've mentioned his name Kage enough times, so let's talk about Kage a little.
I love Kage. Kage is from the Shadow Clan.
Dun dun dun.
Yes, exactly. I don't really know how to effectively describe him, so I will describe him as practically two-dimensional, shadow thing on the ground for the most part. You can see that these two giant eyes, and every once in a while, his little arms will pop out. And whenever he talks, he's got like this, I don't want to call it an arm, but it's an appendage that has like a mouth that moves kind of like as if you had like a puppet. Like,
Yeah, but it's kind of like it's like a weird scythe with teeth.
I don't know how to describe
That's
it.
kinda like a mouth.
So
It's
yeah.
but you guys have to watch it for yourself because there's no describing what this looks like, and we're not gonna try to make one of our avatars look like
I
this
thought about
either.
a mask. It's just like a Kage mask. Kage, he's a thief because the Shadow Clan pretty much got eliminated, and he had nowhere to go. And his background, like, geez, I've never teared up so quickly within the first couple episodes of an anime. His background was really sad. He ends up having to like steal to survive. So he sees this kid with a crown, and he's like, "Hey, give me your money." And Fuji communicates the best he can. He doesn't have any money on him. Kage's like, "Well, give me your clothes." So Boji's like, okay, like just gives him the clothes. And for whatever reason, Boji tells Kage he's gonna come back. And Kage's like, I shouldn't trust this, but sure, I'll come back. And sure enough, Boji comes back
With a ton of
with
clothes
like he's
on.
worn like 15, 16 layers. Probably not that many, but close enough. This odd relationship forms between the two of them. Kage is incredibly blunt. He will call you out. He doesn't quite understand why Boji's being so nice to him, but
At
that's
that
at
point.
that point, yeah. But that relationship slowly builds. I mean, there's not that much time between everything, I guess, but at the same point, like Kage realizes that Boji's not like being naive, like throwing clothes at him for no reason. Boji's doing it because Boji wants to.
Yeah, Kage actually talked to Boji like Boji was a normal person,
Yeah,
and Boji just wants to be treated normal. One of the
yeah.
things that I think it's Vespa points out much later on, the reason why Boji was able to become strong is because Kage believes in him so much.
Oh man, yeah.
Kage actually views him as a person and not just a person, as a king.
Yep. Everyone needs a Kage in their life. Someone who just
Yeah.
believes in you. This is shout out to Yuri on Ice. Like I just want someone to believe in me more than I believe in myself kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's funny because Boji does not have the self-confident issues
Yeah, that's very
that
fair.
Yuri that Yuri
Okay, that
has.
is very fair.
He is bright, he's confident, he's cheerful, and that's one of the things that probably makes it to where Queen Hilling takes an attachment to him. Boji was part of the king's first marriage. He lost his wife. King Boss, the giant ruler, who was one of the best in the ranking of the kings. Boji was a child of him and his first wife, who was also a giant. So when a new mom came into the picture, Queen Hilling was trying so hard to win Boji over because she saw this kind spirit and she was like, I'm going to be his mother. Talk to us a little bit about Hilling and early on with Boji, some of the things that she does early in the anime.
So she is not the nice, caring, nurturing queen that she was at one point. At one point in the
I
past,
disagree.
disagree.
I disagree.
She's yelling at him.
I think that she still loves Boji so very much, but she is coming to the realization that what's going to happen to the kingdom if Boji becomes king because Boss is sick and the son that she conceives of Boss, Daida, is.
Excelling.
I don't think that it has anything to do with a lack of love for Boji. I think it's a doing what's best for the kingdom in her mind.
She comes across very harsh either way.
Okay. She literally heals him back from a bad beating.
Well, yeah, well, I sure freaking hope so. I say that because the beating was brought on by Prince Daida to Goji. But to keep it back on Hilling, she seems aggressive.
I think the anime tries to paint her that way.
That's a good point, and I fell
I don't think at any point in time she was that way.
okay.
I think the anime tries to fool you for just a short little period of time.
Okay, I'll concede that's a fair point. Either way, in the past, where she first comes queen, she is very tentative and tries so hard to get Boji just to like kind of be with her, like sit next to her, and like she's doing cute things like Prince Boji, I brought you cake, and he just kind of runs away, and it's a really cute montage of her being like cake, 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 just trying to get it to him. And then finally, she's exhausted and she's just sitting somewhere, and he steals the cake and runs away with it.
Yeah.
And it's super cute, and like you said, she's healed him before. There's one point in time where we see the three-headed snake when it's practically a baby still, 'cause it's very small. There's slashes all over, it's definitely missing one of the 3 heads. And Boji's, like, seeing it, and he's crying, and he's trying to point at it, and out of nowhere, Healing's just, like, goes Super Saiyan and puts her hands, like, directly above it, and this healing power just comes out of nowhere. And I'll admit that was a really cool point, and was at that point where Boji was kind of looking at her like, "Oh, this person isn't so bad."
Yeah.
And they had a good relationship for the longest time.
Yeah, it's just when at the point in time, because early on in this, King Boss is on his deathbed
Yeah.
and he dies. That's the first major thing that happens. So it's one of those things where his will is getting read and it's saying that Boji is going to be the next king.
Boji actually had, I would point out, he had this really determined look on his face. Like, he felt like he was ready.
Yeah, but they brought it before the council, and the council ruled that Prince Dida would become the king instead. And that's one of the times where they make you believe that the queen is on the evil side because she brought it to their attention that Prince Dida should be the king.
And you're right, the creators made it so she came across very harsh.
Yeah, and at that point in time, the one who's training and mentoring Prince Boji actually votes against him too.
Such a terrible betrayal.
And that's Damas. It's just a really heartbreaking scene, but
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a really tough situation to be in.
I mean, for sure. It doesn't help that when Boji was originally giving clothes to Kage, he would take everything off, like his boxers pretty much and his crown, and just walk back into town like everything was good. So at that point, he was kind of getting made fun of and kind of called a fool too. So to pile that on top of their fear with him being both deaf and mute, I guess I can understand. I guess what I didn't like was her like animosity almost in her tone. And that's probably why I got grumpy at her.
Well, either way, that all resolves, and Dida is announced the next king of the kingdom. And Dida's kind of arrogant. He knows he's a prodigy and he lords it over people. Maybe this is too early to bring up Miranja, but there is a spirit bound to a mirror, and her name is Miranja, and she is telling Dida what to do, how to become the next king, and how to become stronger. And this is where things really get complex because she's basically telling him, you need to eliminate the loose ends.
Yep.
She starts weaving and manipulating her plan through King Dida to try to slay the 2 that voted against him,
Yep.
to try to eliminate Boji before it turns into a civil war,
Yep.
and to ultimately turn King Dida back into King Boss. And I'm not sure how much I want to say about that, but I will say this. If you like what you're hearing so far, remember to check us out on social media, like, subscribe, and follow. And you have to watch this. You have to watch this
Guys,
for
don't
yourself.
sleep on this anime. It's so good.
It's on Crunchyroll. Definitely check it out. Ranking of Kings is absolutely amazing. So Miranja is weaving everything in the background. This puts Boji in a spot where he's going to go onto a journey. But before we talk about that too much, what is the purpose of this journey?
Okay, so basically, Koji's like, I want to travel. And Healing's like, no, you will not. You will stay here and you will be good.
And the reason he wants to travel is because he wants to find Kage, because Kage
Yeah,
disappeared out of
Kage
nowhere.
just disappears. One of the big 4 comes up to Boji and like draws an image of Kage on the ground. And
Devin the Snake Charmer.
Bevan the snake charmer. Snakes everywhere in this thing. And he's like, Boji, do you know this guy? And Boji gets a positive reaction. He's like, well, he said he has to go on a journey. He's probably not going to see you. And that's it. It's all Boji's giving. So now Boji wants to go because like they're best buds at this point.
And the way that Kage got tied up with Bevan was he followed Boji back to the castle to watch him at one point in time. Bevan saw him and recognized him as a member of the Shadow Clan and more or less was interrogating because it's his job. He's in charge of the dungeons and he's in charge of making sure guys like Kage don't get into the palace.
For sure.
But it comes down to the fact that Bevan realizes that Kage just is looking out for Boji, so he allows Kage to leave on a special mission. And this triggers Boji wanting to travel. Talk to us about Boji leaving the castle, who he's with, and where they travel to.
So Boji wants to travel, and Helen has given him the responsibility to take a note to her family. That'll get him out. He'll spread his wings, and he'll come back. That's Helen's goal.
Hokaru volunteers
That's
because
right.
he loves Boji. And he's a big fan
He's
of
a big
Boji
fan.
and Hilling. And Damas is Boji's trainer.
Yeah. So why wouldn't his trainer go with him?
Yeah.
The original plan is to go to where Hilling's family is and deliver the letter, and then just return. Easy peasy.
That's Hilling's original plan.
That was Hilling's original plan.
Too bad that both Daida and Bevan have different plans, and there's 3 different plans setting out on one journey.
So Bevan's plan is the easiest.
Get to the underworld, get trained by Despa.
Yep. And he has given Kage a letter of recommendation. Kage's plan is to keep Boji safe and get to the underworld to train with Despa.
He's hiding in his pack the whole time.
Hiding in the backpack.
What was Daida's plan? Or Miranja's plan?
Boji's got to be eliminated.
Yep.
Which, I guess from a royalty perspective, I kind of get that. Lots of potential Civil War stuff going on. So Daida tells...
Damas is the one.
Yep.
That Daida tells, you have to kill your student to prove your loyalty to me.
Oh man, that whole thing was crazy, by the way. Daida found out how the voting went, knew that Damas didn't vote for Boji, and used that against him to force him to, you want to prove your loyalty to me now? I can't trust you, so this is your task. If you can fill this task, maybe I can trust you.
It just shows the grips and the claws that Miranja already has into King Daida. So they go on that journey together, and the way that Damas offs Boji is he kicks him to a fiery pit that leads down into the underworld. And the whole scene is heartbreaking. There's fallout with Hokaru afterwards. Can't go into every single aspect because there's a lot that goes on just this first season alone.
I do want to add that once Damas does it, there's a pause and then he starts laughing. And then there's that maniacal, crazy laugh where he knows what he did and he hates himself for it kind of laugh that this situation brings in shows like this.
Yeah. He goes into crushing tears afterwards. Hokaru and him spar. He cuts Hokaru, and then he cuts off his own hand in penance, and one or both of us is going to die either way because Boji's not coming back. He's like, the queen's going to have you killed for not taking care of him and is going to have me killed for killing him.
Yeah.
So there's really no way out. King Daida's not going to be able to save them from Queen Hilling. They're both dead men walking at this point in time. But, the crazy thing is, it's actually working out because Kage saves Boji's life in the fiery pit and they go down to meet Despa. Or at least they were hoping they'd meet Despa. They run into Desha first, the older brother and the king of the underworld. And I'm just going to say this about Desha. He plays a pretty important role in the whole thing. Yeah. We're not diving into him too much right now. We need to spend some good time with Despa. Talk to us about Boji's training and this delightfully handsome man that he trains with.
To understand how handsome Despa is, you must know that meeting Desha was crazy. He's got this really weird grin and his really weird face. But his brother, his handsome younger brother, is a stallion among donkeys. I don't know what else to say. That's the best metaphor, simile, whatever it is I've ever used in my life, probably.
He got the fluffy pants and the squared jaw and the moustache.
It's just so great. I'm looking at a picture right now. It's just so great. He's a good guy.
They even take the time to put the 2 little eyelashes on. How when they're trying to make someone beautiful.
Those eyelashes are extra long and beautiful. He's got a pretty big ego. And he's kind of flamboyant, but he takes Boji under his wing and trains him. We're not really able to see what happens because they go behind closed doors. So where Kage can't even watch because it's personal training for Boji. And he's like, he's hearing things and he's like, I don't see what's going on, but there's something going on.
Yeah, and basically what he's doing him, he's taking him through what he calls the Despa arts, and that's learning how to take anything down by just hitting nerve points and hitting where blood vessels are, or avoiding them intentionally. He gives Boji what basically comes down to a giant needle. It's kind of like a cross between a rapier and a giant needle.
It looks like a rapier, yeah.
Looks like a rapier, it functions more like a needle. He's studying the full anatomy of all these creatures.
Even in like armor and stuff like that, where to hit where the weak points of armor is.
Yeah, he teaches Boji how to identify the weak point of anything so that Boji can hit and shatter or hit and knock out, paralyze, stun, so that he can get that opportunity to make a foe into an ally.
Yep.
Not that Boji wouldn't be able to kill, not that Boji can't kill by rupturing an artery, but it's all about precision, using that dodging, getting those hits in on the weak spots to ensure his victory. He grows so much to the point where Despa sends back a message to his brother and says, yeah, you're not going to be able to beat him.
We do need to point out that Desha in the ranking of kings, which we haven't touched on at all, is ranked number 2.
Yeah. So Desha is ridiculous. And one of the things that Miranda points out when Boss, now in Daida's body, and he asks to see who the strongest in the land is, and it shows Boji. So by this point in time, you know that something's going down. So we have all these names and all these sides forming. We mentioned the big four before. We've only mentioned Damas and Bevan by name. Those are the Swords Master and the Snake Charmer. In addition to them, we have the Queen's bodyguard, Dorsch.
Dorsch deserves a statue.
Dorsch does deserve a statue.
statue.
More than Boji, more than anyone else. Like,
It does. Like,
Dorsch is...
Man, I didn't think I would like that guy, but man, he showed up to protect the queen.
Oh my God. Yeah, and you would think that Boji would be the person who would be targeted for death the most. No, 100% Queen Hilling.
Yeah.
And Dorsch bails her out like 3 or 4
such a great
separate times in 2 different scenes. And then in addition to it, Apis too. He's the spear hero who starts out with loyalty to Boji, whose loyalty turns to Miranda because of what she did for him in a previous day. And we're going to leave Miranda pretty shrouded in mystery. We're not going to explain to you the goals, what she is trying to accomplish, what she is trying to accomplish by bringing back Boss. But we know that Boss is trying to reestablish his kingdom as greatness. Meanwhile, King Desha wants to take advantage of the situation. And it's like,
because there's chaos everywhere in the kingdom of Boss.
They're at civil war. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to make that part of our territory.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Despa is just trying to help Boji reclaim his throne along with Kage. You have Damas and Haruku coming back, but they're trying to defend the kingdom from the invasion. You have Bevan coming back, who ultimately he has pledged his loyalty to King Daida because that was his student that he mentored. So he's not happy that Boss has taken over Daida's body. You have Hilling, who realizes everything is going everywhere. She's being targeted as assassination by King Boss. So she's fighting to protect Boji and to reestablish the throne. She comes over to Prince Boji's team pretty quickly. You have everyone merging in. Some are for King Boss, some are for King Daida, some are for King Boji, and some are for let's eliminate the kingdom and just make it part of the underworld.
That's funny.
Anything you want to say about that giant war that's closing in with, frankly, many epic level heroes?
So, oh my gosh, there's just so much happening. I mean, you're getting some flashbacks from certain characters. Everyone's in different spots. It wasn't hard to keep up with, but there's so much.
Yeah, there was never a point in time where I had to rewatch anything to understand what was going on, but it was done very well in a soap opera style. Basically is the whole final, like 1/3 of the first season. There's 23 episodes. So plenty of going back and forth, maybe even the whole like final half. You'd almost say that the first 12 episodes are like the prelogue to the story, and the last 11 episodes of it are the major conflict and all the sides merging into one spot. Really well done, really well executed. I actually thought the pacing of it was incredible.
Very well done.
I felt like it gave me enough to set me up for wanting another part. And then it gave me the part that made the most sense right afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, brilliantly crafted. Anything you want to just say about the anime as a whole as we wrap this up?
I mean, don't sleep on it. For me, I'll admit, like, the artwork isn't the amazing, fantastic masterpiece of an artwork.
It's a
It's
homage to older fantasy.
it's got an old look to it. But my goodness, this anime is fantastic. Do not sleep on it. It's so great.
The character of Boji is so incredibly well written. All of the characters, whether it's Kage, Hilling, any one of the big four, everything's so well written. And the lore that's behind it all is so well put together, too. We just covered the first season on this podcast, but when I'm looking at everything, I'm kind of like, man, I am looking forward to seeing more of this because
Oh,
the
yeah.
world building is so excellent. The pacing was good. The story was great. And the characters were memorable. This was a very special anime for me. Incredibly well done. So once again, we took a look at our main protagonist, Boji, overcoming the obstacles of being both a deaf and a mute to become someone who was worthy of being a part of the ranking of kings, and the many people who helped bring him there along the way, whether it was Queen Hilling or Kage. Then we looked into some of the early going-ons of how King Daida took the throne after the death of King Boss, and we saw the events that happened as a result of it, including Doji being shoved into the underworld by Damas and trained by Despa. And then we finally saw how all the different sides merged together at the end of the series into the great conflict to decide the fate of the Kingdom of Boss. We hope you enjoyed exploring the world of Ranking of Kings as much as we have, and consider watching this anime.
So if you like what you heard today, make sure you listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you stream your podcast. Listen to all of our J-Mill for Real podcasts. And hit us up on social media, like, subscribe, and follow. Once again, this was Exploring Anime with Friends. Let's explore together. And now for a word from our sponsors. Bin Buster. Live from YouTube, it's Tuesday night, the call sign of the Bin Buster YouTube channel. Once you hear this, you know you're about to embark on a journey through pop culture, movies, comics, and more. Buckle up and enjoy the ride every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. EST. Poppin' Cinema with Joe Mama and Friends. Showcasing the power of cinema, join Joe Mama as he introduces different friends each week to a movie they have not seen before, popping their cinematic cherry as they talk about the movie they just watched every Tuesday at midnight.